Today we have a very special guest with us. She began her dental journey in Venezuela, and then soon she moved to Dominican Republic to continue her studies. Afterwards, she moved to the US and worked in Florida as a dental hygienist before matching into the AEGD program at UConn. Lorena, thank you so much for being here with us today. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, thank you so much for you to have me here. I mean, this is awesome. This is an amazing idea of you, both of you. So my name is Lorena. I'm from Venezuela. I started my dental journey back in Venezuela in 2010, I think it is. Then I moved to the States before I went to Dominican Republic, and I tried a little bit here to continue with my career and everything, but it was really hard. And then Dominican Republic started to be an option for me, so I went to Dominican Republic. I started my career basically from scratch, and then I came back to the States to continue here as a dentist, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much my how everything started.
Tell us a bit more about your story and your background, especially those dental parts.
Everything in Venezuela. Of course, my plan was to finish everything in Venezuela and being a dentist there. But since we have some political situations, my school got closed. So yeah, I had to move out. And yeah, Venezuela, I mean, it's an amazing country, but it was not the right place for me. So I decided to move to the States. I went to Dominican Republic because it was a better option for me. And then in Dominican Republic, I did my 4 years of dental school, everything from scratch. And when I graduate, I came back to the States. So of course, since we the our title doesn't cross borders, we need to do everything here and our residency and programs and exams. Um, I, I started working as a dental assistant. Best experience ever. I think that was the best part for me to be to be who I am right now. So I worked as a dental assistant for like I think 2 or 3 years, maybe 3 years. I worked for a prosthodontist. He's my mentor actually. He was my mentor before, and he is still my mentor right now. Best person that I've ever known. It's awesome, and he taught me everything that I know from like about prosto and pretty much about dentistry also. So um, when I was working as a dental assistant, he started talking about UConn because he did the same program as me. So he started talking about UConn. Why don't you apply? My sister was in the program already because I have a sister that is also a dentist. So my sister was already here in UConn, and she was, of course, I knew about the program, but he was like, Lorena, you should start looking at that way. And yeah, it was awesome. Um, then when I got my boards, I took some exams to be a hygienist in Florida, and I practiced as a hygienist for maybe a year. And yeah, it was an amazing experience also. But I think I learned most of my dentistry information that I have right now. Everything I learned as a dental assistant.
That's amazing.
Um, yes, it was awesome. And yeah, then I worked as a hygienist for about maybe a year, maybe less than a year, and then I matched in
Yeah.
the AED.
And then we met. So I know a lot of people have asked me, like in the previous months, like, and many people that have come to US are either on F1 visa or J1 visa, like visas that does not allow them to work. But I also know lots of dentists here who do have a green card or who do have a work permit, but they still haven't found a program to get matched into. And a lot of them have asked me about how to become a hygienist, if I can do it in all the states or if it is only certain states. Like, what did you do that enabled you to start working as a hygienist in Florida?
So I think it's not in every state. I think it's only in a few states that you can do it. Like, you know that here in the states, all the states have similar laws. So for me in Florida, I took the Florida laws and rules. I took the ADEX for hygienists, a practical hands-on exam. That and my when I did it, it was in patient, like in an actual patient, but right now I think it's in tape around. Um, and then I think that's it. Of course, after the boards, you have to pass the boards, and that's it. You have the boards. It will allow you to take all those three exams: Florida laws and rules, at least in Florida, of course. Florida laws and rules, the ADEX exam, and the hands-on practical
And
exam.
was it very hard to take those exams, the hygiene exams, or not really?
It wasn't that hard. No, of course, it's like you have to take some time to study, to practice, to but the actual exam is not that hard. I think the hardest one for me, it was of course the boards, but like those three exams, if you take a few weeks to study and to focus on your exam, you will pass it. I think it's hard to get the date for the practical exam. That one is hard. So if anyone is thinking about taking that exam, I will recommend to go to the CSDA and start looking at dates, because it's not that easy. It's not like for tomorrow or in a week. No, it's like a month of waiting list.
So it's only held a few times in a year, not always.
Think in Florida, no. The thing is, there is a lot of people taking the exam, and since it's a practical exam, you have it's like it's. I think it's only on the weekends. I'm not sure. I took it on the weekend, and it has to be like in a specific place in a specific school. So it's tricky.
Besides, like being a hygienist, we got many questions about how can we choose our destination when we want to immigrate. So, how did you choose that you want to come to the U.S.? How was your story? How was the story behind that?
To come into the States, I mean, I moved to the States when I was 21. And for me, I didn't think about it before. But with the political situation, everything started to be really hard. Like my
Okay, that's
family started thinking about it. And yeah, my sister, I moved before my sister. I moved to Miami and she moved to Orlando like a month after. But we were both like in the same page. I was talking to her. We were both like talking about it, and it was it was a hard transition. Of course, we don't want to move out of our country. Um, but yeah, I think it wasn't really hard for me to make that choice, that decision, because of course in my country it was like you move or you stay with nothing. And yeah, for me it wasn't an option to stay.
And Lorena, you were in the US. You worked as an assistant for about 3 years and then as a hygienist for about 1 year before you started your dental program. So why did you wait during that time? Like, why didn't you apply to the program right in the first year?
Well, in my case, of course I wasn't planning to wait, but I was taking care of my family. My parents moved to the States also. My sister was coming here. So it was a lot of things going on.
Mhm.
Also, I was taking the boards. For me, the IMBDE, it was really hard. It was a really hard exam because I didn't speak that much of English. So I learned everything while I was studying, you know. So I took my time. I took like 6 months of studying. Yeah. So maybe that took me a little bit, and then my family, my situation with my family, it was really hard. So yeah, I think, of course, and I was working from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I didn't have enough time to study a lot. So yeah,
That's great.
maybe that's why.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because so many people ask us, okay, we have this gap in our CV, like where we weren't able to like apply to school immediately, or we had some issues with the immigration, we had some issues here and there, and it happens to a lot of us, right? So it was the same for me. Like it took me 4 years before I could finally apply to the program. So what I want to say is that even if you have that gap, just make sure to stay connected with dentistry in some level. Work as an assistant like Lorena did, work as a hygienist. If you cannot do that, if your immigration status doesn't allow you to do that, at least take CE courses to stay up to date with everything that's going on, and to show the future schools that you're planning to apply to that you have been continuing your learning, even though you have that gap in your CV.
Definitely, I would recommend everyone to do at least CE courses or go and shadow a dentist. You don't have to get paid for it, but you can always ask for, can I come and shadow you? I have a lot of friends that their immigration status doesn't allow them to start working right away, but you can always go shadow somebody. That will look really good into your CV if you apply with shadowings with no payments. That means that you're really interested in learning how we do dentistry here.
Yeah, exactly. And another question that comes up for me, I know that people make like different decisions. So, why did you decide to apply to an AEGD program versus going for an advanced standing or international dentist program?
Think, well, we have a mixed program. We have a mix in between GPR and AEGD. So for me, the Yukon was a dream. I'm always talking about how big of a dream was Yukon for me. So I didn't even think about the option of an advanced standing. For me, it was like,
Yeah,
but now that I'm here, I know that you can the HD will give you all the practical instruments that you need, because it's like, take your time to learn without getting paid, but you're gonna learn everything. I don't know if in advanced standing you will have that opportunity, but right now I think the AGD will give you all the instruments that you need. I think advanced standing also, you have to take exams, you have to go back to dental school. Of course, it opens a lot of doors because you can have a DDS degree here. Of course, that for me it was a better way to do it, like an AGD. But of course, having a DDS title here, it would be like, it would be
yeah,
awesome. I mean, all the doors opens for you. But for me,
yeah. That's a
Yeah. We talked about like advanced standing versus AGD. So why, from those all specialties, how did you decide that you want to do AGD?
um, so I decided to do an AGD, especially in you, because the thing is, Yukon is a mix in between both. So I wanted to have the hospital settings. I wanted to have all the implant planning, and I know that in dental school they don't do that. Oh well, they do it, but it's not as deep as we do it in the AGD, because right now you're doing a specialty. I'm going. I wanted to learn advanced general dentistry. So doing an advanced standing, it will give me the option to practice in every state. Of course, it has a lot of opportunities, but I thought for me that I learned that in my dental school. I want to go more deep, so that was the AGD.
do a different specialty. Like, why not go to endo or go to pros instead of AGD?
I wanted to know what was my path. because at that point I was like, oh, maybe I will do endo, maybe I will do perio, maybe I will do, I don't know what I would like. So in my case, I wanted to to learn more about general dentistry, about everything. So yeah, I think that's why I didn't apply. I didn't even think about applying to an specialty program. I wanted to learn everything about general dentistry, and right now I think it was the right choice.
When I'm talking to other people, I'm like, oh my god, they think, their points of view is really different, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's an amazing experience. I mean, when I if I'm thinking right now, when I was planning to start applying to the programs, um, I think back there I didn't know what I was applying for. Then I started looking at the program. I Googled it. I went to the online page, and I don't know. I fell in love with Yukon. Yeah, completely. I fell completely in love with Yukon. Yukon gave me all that vibe of you have to be there, you have to do this program. So I I took the program for me. I was like, okay, this is my program. What I need to do to get accepted here. So uh, I learned what they were looking for, like their vision, what they were, because I wanted to learn more about implants. My dental school gave me implant information, but it was really basic. So with them, I was like, okay, I really want to be there. I want to learn more about this. I want to be on call. I want to have the hospital setting experience. So I learned everything about the program, and when we I had the interview, I think they noticed that I knew pretty much everything. I was like, because I know you have this, you have that, you guys will give me a pager, and I will be on call 24 hours. That is awesome. So I will recommend to, if you're applying to do whatever, GPR, advanced standing, AGD, whatever you want to do, just learn everything about that program. Go to the online page and see what they're looking for, and what they're offering you. You really want to learn about that? Okay, so make sure that you know why you're applying there, because there's a lot of people that says, oh, I want to do uh let's say oral surgery, I want to do OMFS, but they're applying to AGD. AGD will not give you the degree to apply for a OMFS. You have to have a DDS here. So that will be a red flag. If you are applying to an AED, you cannot say that you are applying then to OMFS, because it doesn't match. I will say learn everything about the program that you're applying, what they're offering you, and then you can be then you can start applying the process and all that. But in the beginning, just look at the pages and look at the online, Google everything, see what they're offering, see what you can offer to the program, because it's a both ways. They're offering you something, but you have to offer something to the program also.
Exactly. As we talked about it in the last episode, it's so important to do your homework about the program that you're applying to. Know your why and know their why, and make sure that they match with each other, because you cannot, like, I hear many people say, oh, I want to apply to this school because I like the city, or I want to apply to this school because it pays better. Like, that's not how it works.
Exactly. That's not how it works. You have to know what they're offering you, and if that's something that you can relate, because you have to give everything to the program. And if you cannot, just because the city is not how it works.
About the application process, I was just thinking that how many things I did in a wrong way, and after applying, after getting interviews, I understood that okay, that was wrong, and I should do it another way. Do you have any like those mistakes that as an international dentist, if you go back and you want to apply again, you would not do them, avoid those mistakes, or you would do things differently?
Definitely taking so much time like in between my dental graduation, my dentistry graduation, and then applying to my program. That I think that was a mistake. It was not bad. Of course, I had situations that I had to figure it out, but um, I think taking so much time between your dental graduation and then applying, don't think, just do it. uh, what else? Other mistakes, it will be don't challenge myself with because I was really shy with, oh, they're not gonna like my English, they're not gonna like my, no, don't doubt it, don't worry, go for it. You have to trust, you have to be confident, because in the beginning everything is looks scary, but don't think, just do it. I think those were the major of course I had like little mistakes, like I don't know, maybe my TOEFL wasn't great, and in the beginning I was like, I don't want to apply with a 91, I want to apply with something with more. So I was taking the exams multiple times. uh, I think at this point I will say, if you don't have the best grades on the TOEFL, it's okay, just apply. They just need to see that you know something about English. That you can communicate with your patients, that's it.
Exactly. What they care about is to see that you can effectively communicate with other people. It's not about anything else other than being able to talk to people and being able to connect with them. Yeah. I've seen so many people that doubt themselves on TOEFL. I don't know, for some reason, TOEFL for international dentists has become this huge thing versus we are all going into dental school to be dentists. We're not English teachers. We do not want to teach other people how to speak English or anything like that. So I'm not saying don't study for your TOEFL, don't prepare for your TOEFL. Definitely spend a lot of time and invest your time and energy into it, but don't let that stop you from applying. Don't miss an application cycle just because you didn't get the TOEFL score that you wanted.
Definitely. The TOEFL for me was a major, one of the hardest exams that I've ever take, because if I mean 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I didn't even speak any English, and right now I'm in the middle of a podcast.
One that comes to my mind about English is that, well, you said like when you moved here, you didn't speak any English. So, how did you work through that? How did you improve your English to be able to do your interviews and become as English speaking dentist?
But there is one difference in between speaking English and then speaking dentistry. I think working, when I was working as a dental assistant, it helped me a lot. Like I learned so much. In the beginning, I didn't speak any English, like numbers. I didn't know how to explain treatment plans to my patients, because the treatment plans, it becomes start giving them fees and everything. So for me, numbers were really hard. Um, I I took as many courses as I possible. It was like every course is available around me. I took them. But I think the big change I had, it was working. Don't don't even. I was really scared of my accent, because it's a strong accent. So I was thinking, nobody can understand me. Blah blah blah. No, now I know that if you can communicate, that's perfect. But taking as many courses as you can, just to learn the basics, because you need to know basics stuff. But after you know the basics, you have to start practicing. And how do you practice? With people that doesn't speak your own language. That's the only way. You cannot learn English with people that speak your own.
Yeah, usually I get many questions about that. What should we say during our interviews when they ask us why you didn't apply the first year that you moved to the US? Like, there are many people that they're applying 5 or 6, or even I've heard somebody, she was applying after 8 years, and we were talking what should she say during her interview. She was doing like research, dental assistant, but you know, how did you decide to go to dental school after many years?
Um, so it was always in my plan. Like since I moved to the States, everything was what do I need for my application. So I need to take my first step. It will be my boards, right? So everything was there. That was like the top of my stairs. It was there, but I was taking like little steps. First step, it was my exam. Then it was the TOEFL. Then I decided my family moved to the States. But if you have that goal, like it's okay if you take 8 years. It's okay. Just do it at some point and be serious about it. Don't start saying, "Oh yeah, I need to start doing it." Mm, no, just do it. Like it's not something that you need to start thinking about it. No, it's like today I'm gonna do something because that's my goal, and every day you have to do something about it. Every day you have to study. Every day you have to maybe, I don't know, practice your exam or practice your English a little bit, or go to I what I was doing. I was going to little cafeterias around my job, and sitting there practice or English or my boards. But yeah, everything is. I think everybody that comes to the States as a dentist, they're all thinking about becoming a dentist here, and maybe they get scared. They think it's impossible. It's not impossible. You just have to do it. It's like I cannot stop myself. Don't think, just do it. Because if you start thinking about it, you're gonna get scared. It's a long process. It's scary, and it looks like just the smartest people in the world can do it. No, it's not like that. You just have to start doing today. What you have to do is maybe study, maybe start. I don't know, looking at the ADA page and see what problems do I have around. Do something each day to be able to go to tackle.
During the interviews that you went, did they ever ask you, okay, why did you take, for example, 4 years? Like if somebody goes into an interview tomorrow and they ask her this question, like, okay, you have a 4 year gap in your CV, or you have a 8 year gap in your CV. Why? How should they answer that question?
Well, they asked me that question. Why do you wait that long? And it was like I was preparing myself. I was taking my exams. I was studying. I was improving my English. Um, yeah, just give them the idea that you were working towards that goal. I think that that would be my best advice. Just let them know that you were working to be able to be sitting with them, talking about the possibility of starting the program with them.
Okay. Yeah, just as long as you show that you have been preparing yourself in the gap that you have taken. It was not just a gap because you were sitting at home doing nothing. It was a gap because you were working on yourself as a person, as a dentist, and as an applicant to be able to do that. And they will 100% understand because nobody's life is perfect. Nobody's life is without challenges. All of us have gone through some things that have set us back. Maybe things don't always go according to plan. And that's just how life is. And the person that's interviewing you knows that. They don't expect you to have a perfect life because they don't have a perfect life. Just be honest about it and just show that you are a hardworking person and that you have been working on yourself during those gap years.
Exactly, because the past cycle, I, I, I know about 3 or 4 people that they got matched, they got accepted after maybe 10 years of gap, 8 years of gap. And there's something that usually when people are worried, what should we say in our interviews when they ask those questions? So first of all, they know that you have that gap. They've seen your CV and they know like, okay, you have 10 years of gap. They are okay on that stage. But when they ask you that question, they want to know you more about that situation. How did you manage that? How you were thinking about the situation? Did you wanted to become a dentist, or did you suddenly you thought it's better to go to dental school? They want to just know those questions. Do not panic that, oh, what should I do about that gap?
So, Lorena, the other
Yeah.
question that I wanted to ask you is what do you think was your unique strength or unique aspect of you as an applicant that got you matched into your favorite program?
I don't think I had something unique. I think I gave everything in my interview. I gave everything. Like I showed them that I really wanted to become a dentist here. It's not because the license, it's not because I wanted to move back to Florida. No, I wanted to learn. Because I know that dentistry in the US is not the same dentistry that we learn in our country. So I wanted to learn more about how they manage, how they do it here. That was my goal. So I think I showed them that my purpose of doing the residency, it wasn't just because of the license. It was more about um, that I really wanted to learn. I was just like hungry of information. Like I really wanted to know how they do it here. How do you do implants? How do you plan or your implants? How do you manage to go to the hospital? How do you talk to the patients? Because in my country, you sit with the patients and you can do a full exam in like 2 hours because you have time. Here, you can't do that, and you have to learn how to do that. So yeah, I think that was my strength. That I showed them that I didn't want to have the license just because I wanted to become a dentist here. It was that I really wanted to be the best dentist, and I knew that they have that information there. So I was like, I really wanted to go there just because I wanted to be the best dentist possible, and I know that you can give me that.
Like, yeah, you just showed them that you were the right person for them, and you're not just there for paper. You are there because you really want to learn.
I think that's something that they are looking for. And I will talk about all the programs. They don't want people that just want to become a dentist here and spend 1 year, 2 years just working. No, they want to see people that they're hungry, that they want to learn, they want to do something else. Because you're already a dentist, you know everything, well, or as much as you can, but like you think that you know everything, but there's always more, and those programs GPRs, advanced standing, AGD, whatever, they can give you that. So don't apply just because of the license. Apply because you want to become the best dentist and a better dentist because you're already a good dentist, possibly. And you just want to be better. And if you show them that, I think 50-50 chances are, well, 80 chances are that you get accepted.
Yeah. So, if somebody has just moved to the US and they want to start the application process for either a specialty, advanced standing, AEGD, whatever they are choosing for themselves, what would be your advice for them? What do you think they should do as a person who has just started their pathway?
In the beginning is I will say start looking for the program that you want. What do you want to do? Do you want to become an OMFS? You want to do a specialty after the residency? That's for me. That's the first step because you need to know what you want to do after, right? And you need to know what type of information that you want to get. If you just want to have like more experience, perfect. But start looking at the program after you know what program you want to apply or what type of program that you want to apply. Um, start looking at what they're looking for. They're looking for um, maybe the best TOEFL grade, or maybe they're looking for um, I don't know, people with the best grades in dental school. Start looking around, because of course you have to know where you apply. After that, sit and study for your boards. And it's scary in the beginning. It looks impossible, but it's not. It's really possible. And start studying for your boards. Take your boards. That's the first step. Take your exam. Pass your exam. If you don't pass it in the beginning, the first step, take it again. It's okay. Don't worry. Take it again. And then you can then start looking at the TOEFL. There's people that take the TOEFL before. I will say take it after your boards, because your TOEFL, you have 2 years with that grade, then you have to take it again. If you take 1 year for the IMBD after your boards, you're done. You have to take it again. So take your TOEFL, take your exam before, after your boards first, then your TOEFL, and after that you have to have those exams. And actually, there are programs that they are not asking for the IMBD, so that's why you have to learn what you're looking for before. So yeah, I think that was my journey. In the beginning, I started looking at the programs. I fell in love with UConn. I knew that they needed I needed to have a really good TOEFL grade. um, I took the boards just because I wanted to apply with my boards. I thought that it was something that would give me that push, that little extra push that I needed. Um, but I don't know. Maybe right now they're asking for the boards, right? Stuff, if I'm not mistaken. But there are programs that are not. They don't ask for the boards. You just have to learn what program you're applying and see what they're looking for. If I can recommend you to take your boards before, do it, because that's something. Imagine having two people, one with the boards and one without the boards. Of course, the one with the board will have a better chance. But if you don't have it, go for it. It's okay.
Talk about different stages of applying. We talk about the challenges that all of us we had during TOEFL and OMD exam. Did you have any other challenges, maybe during interview, after, or before your interviews too?
I think my challenge was timing, because I didn't have a lot of time. I was working and studying at the same time. So I think that was my major challenge. Mm, What else? Maybe like putting in a balance, family time. Those, because I had my family with me, and I didn't I didn't want to miss everything, but I was missing everything. Birthdays, special situations, like my dad got cancer while I was working. So uh, balancing your life, because everything can be really hard. Everybody has challenge. It's just like you just have to know that you're working towards a goal that is not gonna be there for a specific amount of time. It's always gonna be there. You just have to you just have to work for it. It's just little by little, a little, just one little rock in a garden, right? It's just like you just have to put a little rock here, a little rock there, a little rock here, and then at some point it's gonna be a huge garden. So in the beginning, everything is a challenge, because you see that it's impossible, but it as I say before, it's not impossible.
Just one step at a time, a step on the path will reveal itself. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, and like answering your question, like I think my timing was a challenge. Um, Balancing my family and my working towards my goal, and working for, like, I have to pay bills. I have to support my family. So, but if you know that that's your goal, you can have as many challenges as you need. It's okay. But if it's possible. I mean, I have my family, I have all that, and I'm here. So I think if I could do it, everybody can.
Okay, we have a few more minutes left. So, Lorena, do you have any advice, anything to add before we say goodbye to everybody?
What can I say? Like I said before, just if you just move to the states or you're thinking about moving to the states because you want to work here as a dentist, don't get. I mean, it's scary, but don't let that scary situation push you away from that goal. Start working towards that goal. Start doing something each day, little by little, one step at a time. It's not about the big goal. Don't look at the programs like I need to have a million things done before I can start doing it. No, just start working, start doing it, and it's possible.
Exactly. Thank you again so much, Lorena, for being with us today and sharing your journey and your experience with everybody. I'm sure everyone learned a lot. We had a few people ask us if the things that we talk about are only applicable to Iranians or only applicable to Middle Easterns. This is an international journey. That's why we call the podcast the Global Dentist Podcast, because we want to show you that there are people here from all over the world. We share the same backgrounds, we share the same experiences, and it's possible for everyone, no matter where you are or what stage of your journey you are in.
Thank you both of you. This was awesome. It was an amazing experience. It was my first podcast too. So thank you so much, and thank you for doing this. This is awesome. I wish I can have this information when it was starting.
Hopefully, we can all together share our experiences and help the people who are coming to the US in these days or are here in the US, but they feel lost in the process. Because, as an international dentist, if you don't know anybody close to you who has already done the path that can guide you, it can be very vague and it can be very confusing. So, hopefully, all of us together can make that path a little more clear for all the newcomers, basically. Thank you all and stay tuned for our future episodes. It's great as always having you here. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notifications about when the new episodes come out. And thank you both for being here with me today. See you next time.